Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Lily. I am so happy you're here with me. In today's video, I am going to do a junk journal with me, and I am going to bring you along so that you can see how fun it is that I junk journal. Well, I think it's fun, and I think you'll enjoy it too. I am going to use some junk. This is just the junk that I have collected in the last week. Lots of little junk. I'm trying to use up the junk in my little junkie bag, but for some reason, I keep adding to it. So I am going to try to use some of the new junk that I have, but I'm going to make it a little bit more challenging. I am going to take some things from my crafty stash to incorporate into my junk journal with me in my layout pages. I am going to take a stamp set that I haven't used in a long time. I'm going to take either some coloring pencils and some markers and use those somehow in the layout. And then what else? There was one more thing. I think that's it. Just those two things. Markers, coloring pencils, and a stamp set, along with all of the junky junk that I have been collecting. I'm up for this challenge. Are you guys ready to get started? I'll meet you in the crafty loft. Let's go! I highly recommend you walk throughout your crafty space or your crafty things and you grab things that you haven't used in a really, really, really long time. I grabbed this box of markers, and this box was really dusty, like really dusty. I cleaned it off before bringing it to the camera, but there was still some dust on there. These are probably 10 years old, and as much as I said I would use them when I first bought them, I have neglected them. This is my 2025 junk journal. It is beautiful. I love it. I have an entire playlist. I will link that playlist for you up above so that you can see all of the layouts that I have created thus far. This is the most recent one. This one was so much fun. I talk about 80s concerts, and then in this layout, I talk about 80s hair. They are so much fun. All of the layouts, I have so much fun creating these because I story tell, and depending on what I'm working on, they just prompt a memory, and I just, go on these tangents and I begin to storytell. I think you would find them quite enjoyable. At least I hope you do. Okay, let's get busy. I am also going to challenge myself, and I'm only going to do a one-page layout. In my most recent layouts, I have been doing two-page layouts, but I just want to do one-page layout today. And today's layout is going to be book themed because I selected a stamp set that I've never used. I know I said earlier that I would use one that I haven't used in a long time. Well, how about I just use one that I have never ever used? So I have selected this one from close to my heart, along with all of this junky junk. New things that I have added into my little junkie bag, including things that I really want to work with, like these scrapbooking cut-aparts, some Project Life little memory cards, and then also some packaging. This cute little thing, I believe, came in Happy Mail. I think it came from Vintage Packaging. And then, of course, I can't pass up some really good In-N-Out packaging. And then some of my favorite things like Jeep memorabilia, and then also just random postcards and random junk mail that I have in my stash. I will try to incorporate as many of these new things into my layout as possible. And then what's fun is I get to show you at the end what I didn't use. And I have also, oh my gosh, this bookmarker is so cute. I went on a day date with my daughters a few weeks ago, and we went to go have lunch, and we went to several different bookstores, including Barnes & Noble. I picked up a bookmark in the shape of a wine bottle, and it's so cute because it reads, "My wine club has a book problem." Oh my gosh, I love it. It's so cute. And then this little ribbon here came from a box of chocolates, and then other random cut-aparts from junk mail. This is a really, really fun game. It is very similar to Scrabble. It's a word game, like a crossword puzzle, very similar to Scrabble. It is so much fun. It comes in this little banana-shaped pouch, and I just have the little tag that I can't get myself to throw away. And then this is more packaging from some chocolate boxes. These were fancy chocolates that my mother had, and they were wrapped up so pretty. Like, that's just the way they are sold, with that beautiful wrapping. And then this is my junky junk bag, which is bursting at the seams. I really need to condense it and go through that, but we will save that for another time. The fun thing about this stamp set is that it comes with some dies, some framelit dies. So I'll be able to stamp some of these images and then also die cut them. This was really, really tough because as much as I wanted to use all of the stamps in this set, I selected just a few. And I am going to break the blank page, and I'll show you how in just a moment. The easiest way to break a blank page is to collage. You either collage, you can use stickers, or you can even use a stamp set to break the white or the blank page. I am going to create a background. I'm going to take some of this beautiful gift wrap from those chocolate boxes, and I am going to just glue it down to give that white background some interest. I had no idea what I was doing when I started. I didn't really plan anything out. I noticed though that I did have a lot of, like, well, maybe not a lot, but I did have a few ephemera pieces and little junky bits that were book related, and that is the reason why I chose this stamp set. Even though I had no idea when I first started what the layout was going to look like, I knew that it would be book themed. So I enjoy reading. Right now I am currently reading a book by Mel Robbins. It is The Let Them Theory. I've been reading that one on and off for the past few months, and I'm not speed reading this book. I kind of just pick it up when I'm looking for some inspiration, some motivation. I love Mel Robbins, so if you are not familiar, I highly recommend that book. And then I'm also going to start reading A Court of Thorns and Roses, which was recommended by my youngest daughter. And then right after, there's a whole series of those. And then right after I read that one, I'm also going to read A Court of Mist and Fury. And then further along in the video, I'm actually going to make a list of the books that I have in line to read. Like I already have my books ready to go. When my daughters and I went shopping, I picked up several books that were on my wish list and also books that they recommended. So I can't wait. I can't wait to get started. This that I'm cutting right now is part of packaging. It came in a scrapbooking kit, and there were stickers and ephemera and scrapbooking paper, and I saved the packaging. I've already used some of the sticker letters, but the packaging was so pretty I couldn't get myself to throw it away. And that's my problem, ladies and gentlemen, that I can't get myself to throw away the junky junk. And that is the reason why the junky bag is getting so big. But I really, really do need to go through that little bag and get rid of things that I haven't used. And I know I've mentioned that in the past, where if I haven't used it, especially junky junk, even though I'm saving it, if I've not used it, I have to throw it away. I just have to. And so I'll probably do an upcoming video. It'll probably be a shorter version video, not a shorts video, but it won't be quite as long. And maybe I'll just bring you along as I go through the little junky bag. I think that would be a really good idea because it's on the to-do list and I need to get it done. Okay, I am going to, right now, I'm actually thinking about the next steps because I honestly didn't know what I was going to do. That is the challenging part, because I try to give myself anywhere between 30 minutes and 1 hour to create a layout. And I don't like to race through my projects either, but I also don't want to spend an entire day on one layout, because we want to be able to journal on a daily basis if you want to. I try to journal 2 or 3 times a week, especially now that I'm doing the Junk Journal with Me series. I find myself doing more of these more often. And I want to be able to enjoy. I don't want it to feel like a chore. I want it to be an enjoyable an enjoyable process, but I also love the challenging part of it where I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know that I'm going to use all of these junky bits. So now I'm also going to take some of that same wrapping paper in a different pattern. My mother had this package. It was a package of 3 little boxes of chocolate, and they were wrapped up so pretty, and each box was wrapped in different decorative paper. And isn't this just beautiful? I can't remember the brand of the chocolates off the top of my head, but we couldn't get, neither my mother nor me can get ourselves to throw away that beautiful wrapping. So I saved it, and now I'm using it to collage. I covered the front of this envelope, and now I'm going to make a flip out pocket. And since I decided that I was only going to do a 1-page layout, I knew that wasn't going to be enough. It wasn't enough room for me because there's a lot of things. But I didn't want to do 2-page layout. So the next best thing is to create either a flip out or a flip out pocket where it's an extension of your page. And it's so much fun to do that. And so now I'm just attaching it. And look at how pretty that looks. Even if I were to leave it like this, I think it would look beautiful. The scraper is a tool that I cannot live without. It actually helps smooth out the glue, and it makes certain that everything is glued evenly. And you know how sometimes when you're using the glue stick, it leaves kind of globs underneath? Well, by using a scraper and smoothing everything out, it kind of spreads those glue bits out. Anyway, I highly recommend a scraper. That one's actually an automotive scraper, and it's nice and wide, so it comes in handy. So if you come across one of those, I highly recommend them. Now it's time to stamp. I'm going to stamp my images on this junk mail postcard. It's a nice weight card paper, perfect for die cutting and perfect for stamping. So I'm going to position the images, and I'm going to use that Denim Girl and also the very large sentiment, and then a couple of the book stamps. And I'm going to stamp them on this platform. I don't use this platform very often. One, because I forget I have it. I have it put away in an area that is not quite visible, and so I forget that I have it. But it's perfect for stamping multiple images at once. And this one was by Tim Holtz. I've had this for several years now. I need to put it in an area where it's a lot more visible so I could use it more often. And this is what I'm talking about. I start going through my stash. I start walking around, opening drawers, rummaging through my bookshelves and just everything to see what it is that I have. And the new thing that I'm doing now is bringing things out that I want to use. Because if I have it, I want to use it. And I don't want to neglect my things. I've been talking about this for a while. And so I do this periodically. But sometimes I have a favorite thing and I just want to use that over and over again, and then I neglect everything else. So we just need to go and shop our stash and bring out the old things and, incorporate those into the new projects. I am using archival ink. It is a waterproof ink, and the reason I chose this is because I am going to use those markers to color these images. I decided to only use markers and not coloring pencils this time. But maybe in a future video I will bring in some coloring pencils. And now I am going to run the images through the Big Shot. It just makes it so much easier. I like that I didn't have to fussy cut. Unfortunately, Close to My Heart is no longer around. I know, it's so sad. They had such great products. And I had a close friend that worked for Close to My Heart. She was there for years, 10 or 15 years she worked for Close to My Heart. And it was really hard when the company decided to close down. It was really hard for her and everyone else that worked there. She had made so many friends, and when you work for a company for that long, they're not just your coworkers, they become part of your life, almost like family. And so she had a really hard time leaving close to my heart. But now she's happily retired and traveling with her husband. So good for her. The only one that didn't come with the framelit is this large sentiment, which reads, "Reading is dreaming with your eyes open." Oh, isn't that the truth? I enjoy reading. I like reading first thing in the morning. I tried reading at night one time, but then I fell asleep, so that doesn't work for me. And reading first thing in the morning as I'm drinking my coffee, that works best for me. I'm trying to get back into my morning routine where I get up, I get dressed for my treadmill, and I'm trying to do between 45 minutes and 1 hour on my treadmill. And I'll do both, where I will walk and I will run, because I have a race coming up in October. And I know that's about 3-4 months away, but I need to train for that because I'll probably do the 10K. I want to be fit by the time I do that. So I'm now, running and walking in the morning before my coffee. And then I make my coffee, and then I will go through my emails, and also that's when I reply to all of my YouTube comments. And then I'll grab my book and I'll read for about 30 minutes. And then I do everything else. So that's part of my morning routine, which I'm trying to get back into. There was a major shift in my schedule in May, and that threw me off. So now I'm getting back into the routine. This is packaging that came in a Your Creative Studio kit, and it's so pretty. I thought I would make like a little tuck spot out of it. Wasn't sure how I was going to do it, but I knew I wanted to use it. And so I'm just going to glue it down. And sometimes, and I've mentioned this in the past, sometimes I doubt myself. But then at the same time, I also tell myself, you have to trust in the process. And if you get stuck, you can always walk away and come back to it later. And I felt there were moments where I felt like I was getting stuck, but because I wanted to record this all in one go, I didn't give myself or allow myself the opportunity to walk away. So I just had to work my way through it. This is more packaging. This little zebra is so stinking cute. It came from packaging from some markers that the midliner markers. So on the very back, that cardboard had this cute little zebra, and I had actually thrown the package away in the garbage, but it landed in a way where when I looked in the garbage, I saw that little zebra looking up at me, and I took it back out of the garbage, and I immediately cut out that little zebra. I went trash digging in my own trash. Do you see what I mean when I tell you it's so hard to throw things away? Everything has potential. But I will say, I only keep things that I know I am going to use. And if time passes and I've not used it, then that's when I have to make the decision to throw it away and put it in the recycle bin. Oh, and here's something that I thought about doing after I glued the envelope. Of course, that's the way it works. I am going to stamp these book stacks. I'm going to stamp it 3 times. I wish I would have thought to do this before I glued it down. And so this is really tricky because it's kind of in an awkward position. And I want to make sure that the images stamp evenly and there are no gaps. And so I was being really careful trying to make sure of that. And this is when I say I don't plan this in advance. I just grab my supplies and I start playing. And I think that's what's fun. If you are a little bit hesitant to create because you don't know where to start,
The important thing is just to begin. Just start gluing things down. And if it doesn't work out, tear it up and start all over again. It's not a big deal. I'm going to highlight my little zebra with this neon green marker. And I'm just going to go all the way around so that it doesn't blend so much with the books. And in person it looks really good. It does pop just a little bit. And you're thinking, well, why didn't you just color the books? Well, I didn't think about coloring the books until after I glued the zebra down. I'm telling you, I'm working backwards because I'm not putting too much thought into it. I'm just kind of going. And so once I put the little zebra down, even though I highlighted it right around the edge, I felt that it was just blending into the background. And this is when I decided that I needed to add some color to the books. And I'm not being very picky or particular about the colors. I just want to color. And I do kind of choose colors that coordinate with the pink papers on the right hand side. But in all honesty, I didn't overthink it. I just kind of reached for the colors. I don't want my markers to dry out and get old. And these are really nice markers. There's 80 of them in that box. And I like that they are a brush tip. So it's almost like doing watercolor. So I had a lot of fun. This entire process took me 1 hour and 15 minutes to do. What I like about today's layout is that it really helped slow me down. Because just like I've mentioned this in the past where I have the tendency to go and I go really fast. I feel like there are some days where I'm just rushing through my day and I don't want to do that. So I do things like this so that it slows me down and I kind of feel like I'm more present in what I'm doing and I'm, living and enjoying the present moment. Do you know what I mean? Because I tend to go really, really fast. And this week we have Independence Day is coming up on Friday. And so I have 3 full days off back to back. That's unheard of. And I have a long list of things to do. And one of the reasons why I rush through my day, especially on my days off, because I want to get things done. I want to go through all of my to-do list. Like there are not enough hours in the day for me to do all the things that I want to do. But I also don't want to rush through my day. I want to enjoy my day. I want to live and feel the day and feel the moment. Do you know what I mean? I know, crazy. But, and then the other reason why I'm kind of rushing is because, so I have these 3 days off and then I work all day Saturday and all day Sunday. And then I fly out to California on Monday morning. I've mentioned this just recently that my paternal grandmother recently passed away. She passed away on June 20th. And we are having her services in Los Angeles next week. And there's just a lot that I would like to get done before I go because I'm planning on, if I'm flying out to California for the services, I also don't want to rush back. And so I decided to spend, a little over a week in California. So that is what I'm going to do. And there are just so many things that I need to do before I fly out. And so I have a lot to do, but I don't want to rush. But I want to get things done. Oh my God. Oh, okay. So I'm going to color more of these little die cuts. I'm going to begin to layer. And this was, this was so much fun. Coloring was, I'm not a colorer. For example, I don't do coloring books. My sister loves coloring books and my daughters love coloring books. I don't think I have the patience for coloring books, but if I stamp things, I like coloring them. I know, it's kind of contradictory, but I don't know, maybe I should give it a try. But I will take the time to color in coloring books with my grandkids. But those are big images. I don't know. It's more fun than doing tiny little, tedious adult coloring book type of images. I don't think I can handle those. So this was fun. This was a scrapbooking cut apart, and it reads books to read. So this is where I am going to jot down some of the books that I have on my list to read. I didn't get to put all the books that I want to read, but the majority of them will go on there. And now on this flip out pocket, I am going to layer more of these cute little die cuts, and also this denim girl. I call her denim girl because she is wearing a pair of jeans, and I'm going to color her really quick. And I'm going to give her a pair of blue jeans and then a gray top and some pink socks. And then her hair is up in a messy bun, and that's what I look like on my days off, let me tell you. I should probably record my videos like that. When my hair is up in a messy bun, I'm not wearing any makeup. Those are the best days, let me tell you. Those are good days where I don't have to worry about styling my hair. I don't have to worry about, any makeup, just clean, fresh face throughout the day. Maybe that's what I should do. So now I'm going to take all of these cute little images. I didn't realize how nice this stamp set is. I mean, I loved it when I first saw it in its packaging, but now that I've actually stamped it out and die cut the pieces, this is so nice. I think that this is going to be fun for me to share with my daughters. And I started saying that my daughters and I, we went on a date, and I think I already talked about this, but we went on a day date a couple Saturdays ago. We went out to eat, and we went to several different bookstores, including Barnes & Noble, and then some local bookstores. We each picked up a ton of books. A ton of books. We are all readers. We used to all be in a book club. Now we still read, and most of the time we are reading the same books, but we're no longer in a formal book club, even though we're all reading the same books and we all talk about the books. But we are all readers, and it's so much fun. And I love it when they recommend books because they're really good. My youngest daughter, Cayenne, she's a serious reader. She's like a professional reader. She reads. If we could only get her to get paid for reading, that would be amazing. But she loves her books, just like we all do. But I think she loves her books even more than the rest of us. This was a cute idea. I was going to take the bow apart from this ribbon, but then I realized that it was the perfect size to wrap around the envelope like a little present. It has some elastic, so there's a little bit of give. And I didn't even take the little chocolate tag off because there is nothing better than a good book, some chocolate, and a glass of wine. All of those things. There's nothing better than that. Oh yeah, and then you add coffee to that and maybe a nice cup of tea. Yes, yes, bring it. So all of this right here is a little bit about me. And just like that, your layout will tell a story about you without even any intention. Do you see where it says Lillian? That came in the mail, addressed to me. It was one of those flyers or one of those invitations that you get free dinner and they talk to you about timeshare or life insurance, that type of deal. And it had my name in big bold letters. Well, I didn't go to that, but I did keep my name from the junk mail. And now I'm also going to glue down part of the packaging where the bookmark came in. I love that bookmark. In fact, I already have it put in my A Court of Thorns and Roses book. That is so nice. I like that. Maybe I'll take a picture of it and slip it in here so you can see what it looks like. And it also came with this little tag that reads, "Read between the wines." I'm telling you, all of this is just so perfect for this layout. It all just goes together. This little strip of paper that I am using is it comes, what do you call that? Like the branding mark from 12 by 12 pieces of paper, you know, where the UPC is. I cut those and I save them because I use them as faux washi tape. And look at how perfect it looks on this page. And then that little pocket at the bottom, I think that will be a nice little tuck spot. And now this sentiment I am going to add, but first I am going to mat it with some book page. And how perfect. I thought it would be great to use some of this old book page and incorporate it into my book themed layout. In the end, I'm really happy with the way this turns out, and it all just makes sense. I've said this so many times before. You really need to trust the process and just get started. Are you new to junk journaling? If you are new to junk journaling, you don't need to overthink it. If you have ever scrapbooked, you can take some of those scrapbooking skills and techniques and incorporate them into your junk journal layouts. What's fun about that is you can use your scrapbooking supplies, your stamps, your beautiful scrapbooking paper, your letter stickers, your headers, all of those things that you would typically use for scrapbooking layouts. Use them in your junk journal layouts, but then bring in some of the junk that you collect. Your concert tickets, your movie tickets, wrapping paper, packaging, tags, all the things. And they will live happily ever after. You're going to marry the two, and it's going to be so much fun because in the end, your pages are going to reflect your personality, because you are going to do and create what brings you joy. I love Scrabble. I love words. I love books. When I was young, I read the dictionary. I know, but I did. And that was in the 80s. And I enjoyed reading the dictionary, and I also enjoyed reading the encyclopedia. We had the Encyclopedia Britannica. And I just loved sitting there and going through the encyclopedia. But even more than that was going through the dictionary because I loved words. I just love learning words. And I love Scrabble and any type like Boggle. I love Boggle and Scrabble and this Bananarama game. What is it called? Bananarama? I think that's what the game is called. Anyway, I love the words. And so I love how this page, without putting too much thought into it, totally reflects who I am. Isn't that cool how it just did that just by happenstance? And all of this, just like this little card says, all of this makes me happy. It brings me so much joy. Find Zen. That came along with the same packaging where I took that little zebra from. So, you know, that little zebra found Zen in its little library. I'm grabbing a little hashtag or a pound sign, number sign paper clip just to keep that little tuck spot in place. And maybe in the future, I'll come back and add things in there. These are the things that I have left over. Not too bad. Not too bad. This was just some of the little bits and pieces that I collected this week. And they will go back into the junkie bag for a later day. I love how this turned out. And so now I am going to jot down the books that I plan on reading in the next couple of months, starting with A Court of Thorns and Roses And that book is written by Sarah Maas. I think that's how her name is pronounced. It's spelled M-A-A-S, Maas, Sarah Maas. And then right after that one, I'm going to read A Court of Mist and Fury, also by Sarah Maas. She has an entire series, and my kids just love the series, so I can't wait to get started. And then after that, I am going to read Verity. I'm excited about that. There's a movie coming, but I won't watch the movie until I read the book. And so that's why that book is on my list. And then I'm also going to read a couple of books by Hannah Grace. One of them is Icebreaker, and then also Wildfire. I can't remember which one goes first, but those are the 5 books that I plan on reading in the next couple of months. And then I didn't write it down, but Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez is also on the list, along with a bunch of other ones. But that's what I want to get through in the next couple of months, because I want to be free by the time Share Part 2 comes out in November. I'm so excited about that. Oh, if you've not read Share Memoir Part 1, and if you're a Share fan, you got to read it. I highly recommend that book. I recommended it to my daughter Devin. Oh my gosh, I love that she loves the book, because I loved it, and we're both looking forward to the Memoir Part 2 in November. I used a date stamper that I normally keep in my travel kit. I have it out because I'm packing it with me to California. And then I have this little bit of Dina Wakley washi. This is my #1 washi, my favorite washi of all time. And it is gone. I have used it all up. And I went looking for it on the internet and I didn't find it. So I'm going to have to do another search. Use your favorite supplies. Let's not hoard our favorite supplies. Let's use our favorite supplies. And I was so happy to use up all of that washi tape on my favorite book-themed layout, but I was sad that I finished it. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I sure hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope that you are inspired to begin your junk journaling journey, or to begin to create, or just continue to journal and create happy layouts, whatever brings you joy. I'm going to leave you with a slideshow here at the end so you can see some images up close. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, share, and comment on my video. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you, and I will see you next time. Bye.